Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR today for Monday morning, July 11th, 2022. The man they call Meathead, the lovely, not a dirty, but the lovely Linda Kay. You know, we're thinking dirty Dango, but we got the lovely Linda Kay.
Yes, that is quite relevant for our conversation this Monday morning because I am right off the heels of a tremendous, huge GLCW and OVW weekend where we did have the artist formerly known as Fandango, Dirty
Fandango.
Dango, in the house here in Wisconsin. But yeah, I'll get into that a little bit more, but weekend was awesome. Lots of action to be on the mic and in the ring as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, I know that we know this every time and we see this every time, but out of all the clothing that everybody was wearing at the great shows over the weekend, what was the most prominent one that they were wearing?
That would be Collar and Elbow. Make sure to go to collarandelbowbrand.com and check out the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashions. And I know both you and I and Matthew as well, we've been talking about all these new release shirts and the sales going on. So make sure to go to collarandelbowbrand.com and to save a little extra cash, use promo code Linda K. That's LINDAKAY to save 10% off your order.
Linda, do you remember the band The Hunger? I know you listened this week. I've been trying to tell Matthew that the Parts Unknown t-shirt, I'm like, that looks like the cover of The Hunger's Devil Thumbs a Ride album. Do you remember that song, Vanishing Cream by The Hunger?
No, I gotta say I was along with Matthew when we both were unfamiliar. I apologize.
Huge radio hit. They had a nice run at Summerfest for a couple years in a row. No, it looked just like it. But anyways, collarandelbowbrand.com. Get on over there. Get yourself some Linda Kay, some promo action. Get some T-shirt action. I know they got the new tank top out there as well. So the mirror tank top is available now as well. You know, still waiting on that white collar or that white collar. That'd even be better. That white collar, white castle T-shirt as well. You know, one of these days we'll get that. Linda, a little bit of news before we get into all the wrestling action from over the weekend. Simone Johnson, now known as Ava Raine in the WWE, cut a huge promo at NXT Orlando for NXT. She calls herself the final girl. Simone Johnson, the daughter of The Rock, Rocky Dwayne Johnson. Looks like she will be on her way. Now, we all know The Rock was going through what he was going through coming up, and we're watching it on Young Rock, being the son of Rocky Soulman Johnson, being the grandson of the High Chief Peter Maivia. The pressure now in the 21st century of the days of social media and instant access to everybody. Simone, Ava Raine, is going to have a lot of pressure on her hands.
Yeah, she already does. I mean, think about when her name debuted and her having to say she doesn't have to be, or I don't know her exact words, but it doesn't have to be The Rock's daughter. It doesn't have to be Simone Johnson. It can be her own character, her own self, her own identity in pro wrestling. And right now, it being Ava Raine, glad she got to make herself further known out there, getting to cut that promo. Definitely going to see a lot more from her. And you know what? She already does have that great attitude and strong attitude. Just already saying stuff to those who are trying to hate. So, applause to you, Simone. So that's awesome. Great to hear that she's still doing her thing and just going up that ladder, going up that roller coaster in the NXT world.
Yeah, exactly. From watching the Young Rock the last couple of years, I've always loved Chief Peter Maivia's wife, Rocky's grandma, Ata's mom, when she said when Rock was getting into the business, okay, so he called the Flex Banana, whatever. I love that name. What would she say about Ava Raine? Oh, that's purity name, or Flex, grapefruit or something like that. Oh my God, that woman is so hilarious.
Yeah, it's a great show, and just great to see. Maybe someday we'll get a young Ava show.
Maybe we might. Hey, speaking of WWE on TV, real quick, A&E and WWE's relationship kicked off again last night with season 2 of Biography and a new show called Rivals Plus. they had Smack Talk on last night as well. Linda, I know you said you haven't seen it yet, so we won't talk a ton about it, but it was a 2-hour special on The Undertaker and then Rivals, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels for the next hour. Good looking stuff so far. I did see it. I loved every second of it. It gave new details on The Undertaker that we haven't heard. Because remember, over the last few years, with the Stone Cold podcasts, with the the Dead Man series that he had, those 6 episodes that he had on the network, gave more details. Got to interview, Undertaker's mom is still alive, and she was a very prominent person in the episode.
Yeah, that's great. That's one thing about new biography shows, specials, whatever it may be, is getting some type of new content, a new outlook, new interviews, different, not just within the person it's featured on, but just those involved in their lives and other talents they worked alongside. And that's great to hear. You just have something different. And that's what we want, because as you just mentioned, we've gotten a lot of the Undertaker look into his life the past couple years. I mean, that Dead Man special was a staple during the COVID era when there really wasn't much live wrestling going on, or at all, I should say. But also with his Hall of Fame induction this year as well. And even the Treasures show. I mean, I know it was focused more on Kane, but Undertaker had an episode too, didn't he? For that.
I think Undertaker was part of the Kane Treasure.
Kane one. Okay.
Yeah.
But great to see something different, and this is just leading right up to that I forget what it's called again, but the weekend in Nashville, there's the Dead Man One Night Stand special.
Yeah, where he's just going to sit and take questions. Mark Calloway seems to be enjoying life after wrestling right now, which still involves wrestling, and that's okay. But you know what? You get Mark Calloway now, and that's one thing about the Undertaker is that we really got Undertaker. Even when he wasn't the Undertaker, the Dead Man working in the ring or cutting promos for WWE, he still was very protected, and he was the Undertaker, just maybe with a pair of sunglasses.
Right. We even got a little bit of Undertaker at the UFC pay-per-view last week when what's his name came out doing his Undertaker entrance.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's huge.
All right, let's talk a little bit more WWE. Agents, producers, whatever you want to call them. There are tons of producers that come out. When you see those, WWE officials that come out, usually helping to break up a brawl, you're like, boy, I recognize a lot of those guys. You'll see guys like Jamie Noble or, Joey Mercury, or, used to be Dean Malenko was a WWE official for a long time. Billy Kidman's a WWE official. There was a couple guys that we recognized in there. Was Davari was one of them, and Curtis Axel, Michael McGillicuddy was in there as well. Unfortunately, it looks like Curtis Axel and Davari might have been already released due to budget cuts.
Yeah, it was really great seeing them back on WWE television. I mean, I don't know how many producers, agents, that are regularly on payroll, but I will say it was great seeing it, because we've seen Davari make a lot of appearances, and then just recently we've seen Curtis Axel on Raw. We've seen. I remember you and I talking about it. I think Raw.
I said, "Hey, that's Michael McGillicuddy," and you said, "Hey, that's Curtis Axel," and we were both right.
So, yeah. I mean, I don't know how many more budget cuts there would be, but I mean, it was great seeing them. Hopefully, I mean, maybe in the future we could get them back on WWE television, some form, shape, or.
And we'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow morning, but maybe they're doing budget cuts because there was more talk from the Wall Street Journal about how much Vince McMahon's been paying out in non-disclosure agreements. So we'll get to that story a little bit more tomorrow. We didn't talk about this pre-show, Linda, but how about the great news we heard from Chris Jericho that Fozzy has gone gold?
That is huge. I mean, prior to Judas getting very, very mainstream in the wrestling world, with that being obviously his entrance with AEW. I know you and I, Fozzy fans, we've seen Fozzy, and his show is just absolute energy. I mean, you know how he is on camera in wrestling. Just put that on stage.
Put that in rock and roll. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I've been to many Fozzy shows, just singing along every word with other wrestling fans and other rock fans. It's not just wrestling fans, but because it is Chris Jericho, there are a lot of wrestling fans that go to Fozzy shows, and you just, it's just that fun vibe where, you go to any live wrestling show, you make your friends and you get along with everybody. We're all here, fans of live wrestling, pro wrestling, and then you go to a rock show. Now you got your friends who are also pro wrestling fans and rock and roll fans. So kudos, Chris Jericho. There's really is nothing he can't do.
No, I mean the guy's over in England right now doing spoken word poetry. I mean, so Jericho does everything, and he wasn't wrong when he said, out of all the years, out of all the centuries, out of all the thousands of years, you happen to be alive when Chris Jericho's alive. And that's heel Chris Jericho saying that, but I have to make sure that we're absolutely clear here. We get to watch Chris Jericho perform, like saying Babe Ruth, or like saying that you got to see Reggie Jackson or somebody perform. Chris Jericho was probably the first wrestler as an adult that I latched onto. And Chris Jericho was amazing, and the different versions of Chris Jericho have all resonated with me as I've grown up.
Right. And he has, he does invent everything as well.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to SmackDown from Friday night. Linda, this was a solid show, but it had some weird stuff on it. So I enjoyed a lot of it. You know what I really got invested in was the talk between the Tribal Chief, the Usos, and the Wise Man. Mm-hmm. Paul Heyman cut an amazing promo to the point where I had to stop, rewind, and focus on what he was saying.
Absolutely. I mean, great way to kick it off. We haven't seen Roman on SmackDown for a little bit, but you have him coming out doing his thing, just, his cockiness, his swagger. He is in God mode. And then he turns over and looks at Wise Man, and he's like, "What you
Wise Man, why are you sad, Wise Man?"
And him just going over Brock Lesnar's accolades and just really chiming in on this huge match that's
Austin Theory's running around the ring.
Yeah, too. Yeah. So that's your shenanigans, and we love shenanigans. So great way to kick it off. Paul Heyman, just tremendous work right there as well. And then you trickle in Theory with the briefcase.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Hey, Linda, my new favorite theme song is for a couple guys with shields. That's what it sounded like when it was time for the raid. The Viking Raiders. Now, I enjoyed the Viking Raiders when they were doing their thing with the Street Profits, axe throwing, playing basketball, all that other good stuff. But the music that the Viking Raiders have sounds like a true medieval times raid.
Right.
They nailed that music.
Yeah. Even with the look, the shields, no, not the shields, but as you said, the shields, and the dark makeup, the new Vicious Viking Raiders. I think this is a great reboot for them. Especially like for those of us, that saw them go to NXT for a little bit, and it just seemed like they got some welcome back chance, but I felt like out of the talent that they brought back down for a stint at NXT, Dolph Ziggler, Natalya, and now we have Apollo Crews. I think the one with the Viking Raiders was a little short-lived, and I don't know if maybe they were supposed to stay longer, and then they're like, nope, we're just gonna.
We need you up here.
Yeah, we're gonna have you be the new Vicious Viking Raiders, and I like it, and I hope it does stick well as some of these vicious heel.
You mentioned Natalya. Boy, oh boy, Ronda Rousey. Forgot what city she was in, and Liv Morgan did the same promo she did on Monday. I'm worried about Liv Morgan and her being the champion because I don't feel it.
I heard you and Matthew talking about how it's a little reminiscent to when Bianca became champion. If they stick to the, the path, worked hard all my life kind of thing. I mean, that's great. It really, really is. But I guess I want somebody in a real convincing feud with her right now. And I'm not really sure who it would be. We've got SummerSlam right around the corner. It could be Natty, but then we had Ronda come out. So I'm like, is this going to be a triple threat, or would it be Liv and Ronda? Just because Ronda Rousey said, just soak in the 15 minutes of fame, or I don't remember her exact words, but
I've got a thought of who it could be, and we'll get to her in a little bit. But first off, I want to talk about the 2022 tennis collection from the Maximum Male Models. Again, quite possibly the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and I love every second of it.
Yes, I hope for some type of theme these weeks. I feel I think Matthew was saying 6 months of just fashion shows.
That's a little
I would
far.
go for like maybe 6 weeks or even less. SummerSlam is right around the corner, so maybe one final huge uh collection debut in
Yeah.
Nashville, perhaps some cowboy gear. But I am enjoying this right now. Side note, I was thinking about their delivery. What we're seeing there with the rolling of the red carpet and all the
Yeah.
lights, camera actions.
You
When you
thinking
think of
Eminem?
yes, another trio of action, if you will, with similar letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just thought about that as well.
And
But
that's why they have Mansois, Massé, and
and
the
Max
maximum male. Yeah.
Dupree.
Dupree. All right. I think that if they strengthen up and kind of heat up Lacey Evans, now that she's a
Oh,
heel, that's the next opponent for Liv Morgan because Lacey Evans says, you know what? I poured out my heart and soul to you people, and you disrespect me. Boy, oh boy, we're gonna have to boo her now.
yeah. I thought of you actually when I saw that. Like we can't have her be a heel after she just was it 5, 6 episodes or not episode, yeah, kind of
Yeah.
episodes if you of her life
Family about her family's
story.
on crack. She went to the Marine. I mean, all of this, and now she's a heel.
Yeah,
I don't
even
know.
her tagline of the like I may not be better than
Yeah,
everybody, or
nobody back
everyone
there.
in the locker, but they sure aren't better than me. Or
Yeah, they're not
I
better
like
than me.
that, and that's crazy. I guess like maybe that was the original plan to get everyone behind her, and then her like
Swing
really
it,
yeah do a
I
swerve,
guess.
no pun intended, on them. So or
Well, we'll
on
talk about
someone.
Swerve in a little bit.
Okay, but yeah, that was interesting to see. And then we didn't even get that tag match that was supposed to be I think
Right.
with Shotzi and
Shayna Baszler.
Shayna. Yeah, but
Well,
hey,
we had to save time for the main event because,
yeah,
again, we're going to cut the ropes. Didn't
and
we see this at WrestleMania?
yes, and we also didn't get Sheamus. That was so.
Well, he had a case of the COVID,
Oh
apparently.
yeah, that's what he
Hey,
said.
Linda, this is ironic because we had a friend of ours. I won't put this person's name out there, but I said, hey, correct me if I'm wrong because you've been in the business for whatever amount of time, but he cut the rope in the middle. I thought the ropes were tied off, at the turnbuckles. Why did the other top ropes go down?
I don't know how to set up ropes and turnbuckles, so
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know
I'm just
the
saying
answer to
that was
that.
the same exact question I had when we were watching WrestleMania Saturday at the house that we were watching it at. And I said, I don't get it. And he goes, I don't know. Because, if you look at the turnbuckles, I thought the ropes tied off at the turnbuckle on the ring post. And it's not one continuous rope that goes around.
Maybe for the night it was in Fort Worth.
Oh, well, Fort Worth or Dallas, or you know where you are. That's what Rhonda said. You know where you're at. Well, Butch got his head kicked off by Drew McIntyre. Again, they're having a match to determine who's going to face the champion at Cardiff, the Clash of the Castle. We
Yeah.
know it's going to be Drew McIntyre, but that's okay. We can get some matches to get to it. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk Rampage from Friday night as well. I like our Friday morning shows that we do because Matthew and I, without spoilers, will look over and try to figure out who's going to open the show and who's going to start it off. I think I got it right by saying Eddie Kingston took on Takeshita. Takeshita. I always get his name wrong, and I'm going to have to practice that one. Kind of like I used to practice Dominik Dijakovic.
Mm-hmm.
But Eddie Kingston, you know what? I love that he's in AEW, and this is not a slight on Eddie because, I'm not a body shamer, but I don't know if he would get over in WWE because, they're so obsessed with what the body is. Eddie looked winded, and he had his gut hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me. I'm way behind Eddie.
Yeah. Eddie's just, and it is a thing where there's be some talents that you or, relate to more, whether it's their life story, their body, or just their journey. So
Yeah.
it's kind of nice for a lot of the audience to relate
To
to
get
Eddie.
somebody that we can get behind, absolutely.
And just speaking of journeys, how long he's done his thing before getting onto the big show, no pun intended. But you know what I mean? Like there's just he's just a real dude. He really
Yeah.
is. Not like I
Love
know
him.
him personally, but you can really see it. And
Love it.
that's
Yeah,
why.
I don't
Yeah.
feel that's a character. He might throw in some storyline stuff into his talking. Other than that, we're looking at Eddie Kingston. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to skip ahead to his promo here real quick, and then we'll come back. Eddie didn't yell once at all in his promo, but he says, "My Ruby, almost like my precious." I had chills. I mean, the hair was standing up on my arms. That's how great that promo was.
Yeah. I mean, he even said just the pain that he's been having these past couple weeks, and even in his voice, and just the struggles he had, and just
Literally,
how.
here's the verbatim. Every drop of blood is a sin that you've committed, Chris.
Mhm.
I want to wrap you
Um,
in barbed wire. I'm mad at you because you made me a liar because I didn't make you bleed. I'm gonna make you bleed. Wow, that's some deep stuff. And it's been made official. They're gonna fight in a Shark Tank.
Well, it said that the rest of the Jericho Appreciation Society is going to be in a Shark Tank, so that Eddie and Jericho can have their one-on-one
A
barbed wire
Shark
death
Tank,
match, because it's Fighter Fest.
and it's Shark Week too. Actually,
There we go.
a Shark Tank. Good grief. I'm not a big fan of blood. I
Wrestling.
know. Yeah, I know that Eddie's gonna make Chris bleed. We know this. This is gonna happen this time.
Hey, shark. I mean, come on. There's got to be a shark. I mean, I don't want any animals harmed with any of these.
You
But
know who we should
what
get?
if
Oh, shell, yeah. The Shark Boy.
they're? Oh, yes. Or it's not as funny. But remember the Super Bowl? There was the shark one, shark.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No, I think that would
get
be
Shark
fantastic.
Boy. Yep.
Yeah. Give me Shark Boy. Oh, shell, yeah. All right. Athena and Chris Statlander cut a promo backstage on Jade Cargill. I like the new Chris Statlander. Athena is Athena, / Ember Moon, but I like the new Chris Statlander. She's not the alien anymore. I like her character now.
She's not doing the boots anymore.
Yeah, that's not what it's about.
Yeah. No, I yeah, she I mean, I'm very happy. I love how she brings up she's one of the originals of AEW, someone
Yeah,
the foundation of AEW. So great to see.
that's right.
I mean, I mean, I didn't know about Chris Statlander until AEW. I'm like, man, this girl's great. I mean, her look,
I love her.
yeah, so it's good to
And
see
she's one
her.
of the best friends because you got to give the people what they want.
Exactly.
All right, Lee Moriarty and the Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham took on a new tag team called Gates of Agony. Toa Leona and Khan with Tully Blanchard as a part of Tully Blanchard Enterprises. I enjoy seeing Jonathan Gresham, but again, this seemed like a throwaway segment to me. Not that it's a throwaway, but I'm watching AEW Rampage and I'm getting Ring of Honor play-by-play. I'm getting the Ring of Honor ring announcer and a Ring of Honor talent. It's like they threw one segment towards Ring of Honor. Just give Ring of Honor their own show. Then I'll decide what I want to watch for Ring of Honor.
I wonder if that's, even if it's something on YouTube. I feel that, I mean, especially since we're getting Ring of Honor pay-per-view again, maybe it's something along the lines. Maybe it's just helping. I don't want to say test the waters. No, it's more so. I mean, maybe getting some of that AEW audience to see a little more of ROH. So when they do get their own show, there's already some familiarity there for those who aren't as familiar with ROH quite yet.
Jonathan Gresham turned on his partner, Lee Moriarty, and joined Tully Blanchard Enterprises. And now they're going to have that match next week. It's going to be Jonathan Gresham taking on Lee Moriarty for the Ring of Honor World Championship.
I mean, if Gresham's already the ROH champion, I don't feel he necessarily has to join on to Tully's faction there. But maybe there's something more there that we're...
Who knows? Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
Let's talk about the tag match. Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb against Kayla Sparks and Christina Marie. This was an easy one for Martinez and Deeb, but Deeb is eyeballing the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Again, another segment for Ring of Honor when I tuned in to watch Rampage for AEW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what, just how great, and the veteran, the professor of pro wrestling, Serena Deeb. I want her at...
I don't like what she did to my friend.
Well, yeah. Well, see, we put that aside. See,
okay.
Yeah, she's doing her thing at AEW, so I'm cheering her on because as a professor for wrestling, she did teach me a few things in the ring.
There you go. Okay.
Absolutely. So, I mean, just what a talent. I want to see her actually vying for that AEW women's title, like sooner than later.
Yeah. The main event was freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy with the Best Friends and Danhausen, the lawyer, against the premier athlete Tony Nese with smart Mark Sterling. So if Tony Nese won this match, then Cassidy would have to sign a petition for, I have no idea what, but he was going to sign a petition. I don't know if that's to get Wardlow to have to wear, like a man bun. I mean, I really don't know what it was, but Orange Cassidy comes out to, some great music by Jefferson Starship. Danhausen throws a curse on Tony Nese, and then Orange Cassidy pops Nese with the Orange Crush. 1, 2, 3. And we've got a night. I love the show. Again, love the show, but if I tune into AEW to watch Rampage, I want to watch AEW, not have half of the show be Ring of Honor.
I still think possibly we're going to get that separate ROH show, and this is just throwing a little bit in here and there to some more, eyes on their product and more familiarity and more, I don't say interest, but maybe, just something. If people aren't as well versed, if you will, within Ring of Honor, or even if you just know a little bit about it, it's bringing back names like Jay Lethal, Jonathan Grisham himself, and
I don't mind having the talent. Yeah, Dalton Castle. I could watch that match again. That was pretty funny. But my whole point is that if they're going to come in, then you know what? Come in and wrestle AEW talent for the AEW stuff, not defending the Ring of Honor titles on the show, not defending the, it's like it's almost taking over. It's like going to a Brewers game and then halfway through it, you're going to watch Angels White Sox.
Yeah, I guess you're coming from as well. I guess I'm thinking it's possibly something further on separate, and this is just a way to sprinkle it in, if you will.
Gotcha. Well, we'll be sprinkling in more shows this week. I was listening to whatever you were going to say, Linda. I was taking it and then moving on with it. All right. We're going to sprinkle in a little bit more wrestling talk this week. So for Matthew Thomas, Linda Kay on the man they call Meathead, thanks for stopping by. We will talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.